Okay, so in order to simplify cube roots, whenever we're multiplying or dividing, our first step is going to be to multiply or divide. So anything outside of the cube root is going to stay as is, or we multiply if we have two things outside, and everything inside the cube root we are going to just multiply together. So 2 times 32 gives us 64, x times x squared gives us x cubed, and y squared times y to the 5th gives us y to the 7th. Our next step is to break down numbers inside of the cube root. So if you remember, 64 is a perfect cube. If you're not sure, you can go into your calculator and hit math, choice 4, and we can take the cube root of 64 and see that it is in fact a perfect cube because we have no decimals. So I'm going to leave that as is and circle it because it's a perfect cube. X cubed is a perfect cube because the exponent is divisible by 3. And so I'm going to leave that as is and circle it. And then y to the 7th is not a perfect cube because it's not divisible by 3. So I want to break that apart. I'm going to break that apart into y to the 6th times y, because if I multiply those back together, they still multiply back to y to the 7th. So it's an equivalent expression. But now I have something that is a perfect cube. Next step is I'm going to take all of my perfect cubes out of the circle. So I'm going to take the cube root of 64. The cube root of x cubed, so I'm taking the exponent and I'm dividing it by 3 because that was the root we were taking, which is just x, or x to the 1st. And so y to the 6th becomes y to the 6th divided by 3, or y squared. And then we're left with a y in our radicand because we had one part that was not a perfect cube. Last step is to simplify everything completely, so we're going to do 2 times 4, which is 8xy squared, cube root of y. And that is our answer in simplest form.